Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're tracking a massive, breaking piece of geopolitical news today, and honestly, it goes way beyond just a simple headline. Reports are confirming that U.S. and Iranian negotiators have actually reached an agreement on a 60-day memorandum of understanding to extend the current ceasefire. Now, you might be thinking, well, this is just some distant diplomatic matter, right? But as we're going to explore today, this is literally a monumental event. It has profound global economic ripples that could directly impact your daily life, your wallet, the whole shebang. To really grasp the magnitude of this news without all the partisan spin, we're using what we call the ripple effect framework. Think of it like zooming out, from a single piece of paper on a desk all the way to the future of the Middle East. We'll quickly cover 1. A breakthrough memorandum, 2. The Strait of Hormuz, 3. Inside Iran's borders, 4. Shifting Middle East power, and finally, 5. Balancing peace and prosperity. All right, let's get into it.
Section 1. A breakthrough memorandum.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this defining insider quote, "Dust, no deal." It perfectly captures the delicate reality of what we're looking at here. While sources confirm that an agreement is physically sitting on a desk, that piece of paper means absolutely nothing until the ink is completely dry. As the insiders say, there's no deal until there's an official deal. So keep in mind, nothing is completely final just yet. So what exactly is sitting on that desk? Well, it's a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU. Basically, it's a 60-day agreement to extend the current ceasefire, which, by the way, is already about 55 days in, so this effectively doubles the timeline. What that does is create an absolutely crucial window to launch budget negotiations specifically regarding Iran's nuclear program. And just to be clear, the ultimate goal for the U.S. in these talks remains a strict zero-tolerance policy for nuclear weapons. Let's walk through the clear steps required to actually make this happen. Step 1, that's complete. Negotiators have reached the MOU agreement. Step 2 is exactly where we are right now, awaiting President Trump's final approval. But even with a signature, Step 3 requires further intense talks over the next 5 to 7 days. They still need to finalize demands around the enriched nuclear stockpile and, critically, the Strait of Hormuz. Which brings us to Section 2, the Strait of Hormuz. So the crucial point is really this number, 3.2 or 3.3. That's the latest U.S. inflation report figure from this morning. Now, you might wonder, why does a domestic inflation number matter for Middle East peace talks? Well, it absolutely highlights the urgent economic necessity to get global money and resources flowing again. They need to stabilize markets and relieve all that pressure on consumers. Think about how opening a strait half-world away actually helps. Right now, there are massive ships loaded with resources physically just waiting to clear the Strait of Hormuz. If this 60-day ceasefire holds, the economic impact could be immense. Combine that opening with the UAE recently exiting OPEC and OPEC Plus to flood the market, plus U.S. Gulf Coast ports prepping to process Venezuelan crude. With the summer oil demand spike rapidly approaching, if all these factors align, it could quickly bring down prices for everyone.
Moving on to Section 3, inside Iran's borders.
We're seeing a really stark contrast in Iran's current posture right now. Externally, they're maintaining this shaky ceasefire, relying mostly on small drone capabilities and a recent intercepted missile attack on a U.S. base in Kuwait, rather than a full air force. But internally, the vulnerabilities are severe. The country is being economically crushed. Citizens are openly expressing that they feel like prisoners under their own government, living under the horrifying shadow of public hangings. It is an incredibly volatile mix. And this brilliantly illustrates a fascinating, unexpected chain reaction of economic warfare. Because of the U.S. blockade, Iran literally cannot move goods out of its ports. So, out of sheer economic desperation, the government was forced to open up internet access just to keep online commerce alive. But in doing so, they inadvertently gave the whole world a direct window into the deep anger and frustration of the Iranian people. Let's zoom out a bit for Section 4. Shifting Middle East power. So, what does this all mean for the broader Middle East? We have to ask ourselves, how does a temporary agreement between the U.S. and Iran end up rewriting the rules for all the surrounding nations? Well, President Trump is adding a completely new layer to this geopolitical chessboard. He is actively demanding that Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states join the Abraham Accords as part of this broader negotiation. If these nations get on board while a nuclear uranium deal is reached, it fundamentally shifts the long-term balance of power in the region. The administration is framing this not just as some reaction to midterm election pressures, but as a real legacy-defining move focused on the international security of future generations.
Which leads us to our final part, Section 5, Balancing Peace and Prosperity.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a massive balancing act for leadership. On one side, you have the absolute mandate for peace and international security, extending the ceasefire, stopping the violence, and firmly containing the enriched nuclear stockpile. But on the exact opposite side, there's the immediate necessity of prosperity and economic relief, ending the economic warfare in the Strait of Hormuz to lower global oil prices and relieve inflation. Every single move over the next 5 to 7 days has to carefully weigh these two huge priorities. So will this 60-day pause redefine the future of the Middle East? Right now, remember, a memorandum of understanding is just a temporary piece of paper sitting on a desk waiting for a signature. But as you've seen throughout this explainer, the potential for it to solidify into lasting global change is staggering. We're talking about impacts ranging from the price of gas at your local station to the fundamental freedoms of citizens halfway across the world. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the news and always keep questioning the ripples.